Welcome to the Conscious Investor. Let's get started. You're being robbed, and the thief, you can catch that thief the moment you look in the mirror. Today, I want to talk about enough. Why we need to stop chasing achievement. It is absolutely 1,000,000% inspired by the book club's current book, Stillness is the Key by Ryan Holiday. I'm going to read a couple of excerpts from it, which if you've been listening, you know I don't typically do that. I'll sometimes just, give a quote here and there, but there's a sequence of thoughts in this particular chapter on enough that I want to share with you because you are awesome. And I know that you want big things in your life and that you are chasing and you're like a racehorse. And I don't want you to end up crossing a finish line feeling robbed or depleted, or maybe not crossing that finish line because you simply ran out of stamina, right? So I'm going to go ahead and give you a little succinct moment and a little glimpse into my past of chasing achievement. So let's start there, not to be selfish, but I think a lot of you will relate to this concept. I graduated college early, which sounds crazy when I think about it. I finished a 5-year program. I finished it in 4 years, and I started my career in public education at the tender age of 22. And now being in my mid 40s, I just look back and think, my goodness, I was just a child when I started my career, which is amazing. And shortly after, the sequence went like this: graduate college, the 5-year program in 4 years, and then 2 weeks after graduation, get married, and then 2 months after getting married, start a career. That is a lot of achievement sequentially. And I actually felt this moment of, especially when that marriage turned, south and was a very, as you know, if you've been listening, a very difficult situation. And really feeling that sense of, did I work? This is what I worked for. Like I gave everything and I gave 110% of myself, and this is what I have to show for it. I felt absolutely, completely robbed. I felt misled and misguided. I felt like, wow, I followed all the protocol and all the rules of the world when it comes to education and of my faith. And I've done everything the quote right way. And yet here I am feeling so hurt and empty. We can't just chase after outcomes. And in a similar note, John Stuart Mill, who was an extremely accomplished person centuries ago, and he had the same sentiment. He was, a child prodigy. He accomplished all these things and realized, why am I chasing after all of this? In Holiday's book, he says, and I am going to read it. He says, John Stuart Mill, was probably lucky to learn this so early on. Most people never learn that their accomplishments will ultimately fail to provide the relief and happiness we tell ourselves they will, or they will come to understand this only after too much time and money, so many relationships and moments of inner peace were sacrificed on the altar of achievement. We get to the finish line and only to think, this is it, now what? A little later on, he says, the need for progress can be the enemy of enjoying the process. And there is a theme right now in the world to say, enjoy the ride, enjoy the journey, enjoy the process. But oftentimes we forget that it's a matter of putting our achievements in perspective. Why am I chasing after this? And what am I learning along the way? A little later, he says, we are restless because deep in our hearts, we know that our happiness is found elsewhere And our work, no matter how valuable it is to us or to others, cannot take its place. But we hurry on anyway, attend to our business because we need to matter. And we don't always realize that we already do. That was a showstopper for me. And oftentimes we are chasing after achievement because we are looking for that I matter. See, look at me. Look at what I did. Look what I contributed to the world. Can't you see? I'm a great person. I have so much to offer. I matter. And the reality is that you already matter. You were uniquely created. You're uniquely put in the world at this exact time because you matter. You don't have to have anything to show for it. You don't have to have a trophy. You don't have to have a host of followers. You don't have to have the right size bank account, the perfect investment portfolio, or any type of pedigree to matter because you already do. Sometimes when we realize that we already matter, it allows us to just sit back and embrace the process, embrace the journey, because now we can take that burden of proving our worth and our value off the table because we don't have to prove it. You living and breathing, your heartbeats are evidence of someone who already matters. I just feel like that gets very, very lost in this world. And I hope that you take that to heart. He goes on to say, you will never feel okay by way of external accomplishments. Enough comes from inside. It comes from stepping off the train, from seeing what you already have, what you have always had. When we can accept that already we matter, no matter what our childhood was, and that narrative that might be very hurtful, whatever the narrative, those outlying external things do not prove your worth. Finally, he goes on to say towards the end of the section, and I'm definitely skipping through and picking out choice pieces here. He says, we are not put on this planet to be worker bees, compelled to perform some function over and over again for the cause of the hive until we die. Nor do we owe it to anyone to keep doing. Not our fans, not our followers, not our parents who have provided so much for us, not even our families. Killing ourselves does nothing for anybody. Sometimes we think that we have to prove things. One, we have to prove that we matter. And two, we're under this obligation to do in order for external accomplishments and for people that we might, I hope that we all love our families deeply, right? But we could even have these significant connections and we want to support them and we want to do our part, but we can pause and we can say enough. We can only do so much. My husband is an incredible man, and he is so accomplished in his profession and such a role model and guide to so many. And I think a guide without even realizing it. But one example he sets for me consistently is he knows what enough is, and he knows how to step back and sit down and catch his breath. For some of us, that's so challenging because we want to do exactly what he's saying. In this book, he was like, we just want to go, do, and take action because we think if we can only do this one more thing, just one more, I have to be more productive. I need just to get this last email sent. I need to know what we need to do is say enough. It's time for me to say, I matter and I can catch my breath and I can return to whatever it is that needs to be returned to. I can return to it. As you go about your week, I hope that you remember and I hope that you share with other people that they already matter. And then we can all live as if. And if we all live as if we already matter, imagine what that ripple effect looks like in the world. You are amazing, and I am grateful that you joined me for this session. If you got anything from this, I would just ask that you please share this with somebody in your life who needs this type of encouragement throughout the week. Until next time, live big, love bigger.